Hi, this is Mike for Draft Buddy, and in this video I'm going to demonstrate importing projections into Draft Buddy using Projection Pal. And I have the baseball version of Draft Buddy open here, and I have Projection Pal open as well, right over here. These are separate files you need to download. Again, Projection Pal is completely optional. You don't need to import other projections into Draft Buddy, but if you want to, the option is here. And to get Projection Pal, we need to go to the same page you downloaded Draft Buddy, and there's a separate link for Projection Pal right there. So once you have that downloaded, then have both files open, okay? And now we need some projections. And I'm thinking the projections from Razzball. And the reason these are good is because they provide a CSV file, which is a comma-separated file. It imports into any spreadsheet program really easily. And that's a good way to get projections. A lot of different websites offer this option. So here is the hitter projections, and I'm going to download the CSV file and save it. Okay. And I'll get the pitchers one too. So let me go to pitchers. I'm going to download the CSV, and there we go. Save it. Now both these files should be in my downloads folder. There they are right there. Now in my case, I won't double click them because I have various versions of Excel on this computer and probably a different one will open, but let me open it up. Okay, let's open up the hitters one. Okay, and you can see it is basically a text file separated by commas for each thing. We want to get these into columns. So select comma to separate it and finish. And here are the projections right here. So let's double click that so we can see the names. Okay, so these are the projections we want to get into Draft Buddy using Projection Pal. It's not as simple as just copying and pasting them into Draft Buddy because they won't line up with the right players. Okay, so we need Pal as an in-between to help with that, and that's what it does. So let's look at Pal for a second. Okay, this is the setup tab with some instructions. And the main tabs we're going to look at are the hitters raw tab. This is where the raw data goes that we want to put into Draft Buddy. And the clean tab is kind of the spot that looks just like the tabs inside Draft Buddy with the names and then all the appropriate columns. So we can pull the stuff in and put it with the right players. So all these formulas, you're going to leave those alone. They're going to do the work for you. Let's go to the raw tab and let's go back to the projections. Let's put them in there. All right, so I'm going to highlight all the projections, copy them, and paste them into Pal. It doesn't matter too much what row I put them on, just they want to be inside this gray bordered area. Okay, so there we go. Now they do fall a little bit beyond. We got more columns here than Draft Buddy will pull in. If that's the case, there must be something that doesn't really import here, like this first column is irrelevant. With the player bats and these positions are not going to import into Draft Buddy. We could move the data around a little bit to get it in there. I'm not worried too much about these ratio categories because while they are in Draft Buddy, when I get back, when I get them in here, into my hitters data tab, the main projections section calculates these for us. These are formulas. They're going to calculate the batting average, OBP, slugging, etc., based on these other projections. As far as where these projections from Pal are going to go, you can see in the hitters data tab, if I scroll to the right, okay, I've got one section here for raw projections. These are imported, from through our online update feature. And there's two more spots, okay? There's a second spot here. We call this Site B. This is kind of Site A is the first one, Site B, and Site C. Now, with the baseball version, we already have more than 3 different sets of projections to pull in. But, and you're kind of limited to 3. But some people like to import other projections that aren't among our choices. So that's fine. They're going to, PAL's going to put them either here, right here in the Site B section, or right over here in the Site C section. And they just overwrite the ones that are there already, which is fine. And then those work into, kind of your main projection section here, which helps generate your cheat sheets. Okay, we're getting a bit off track here, but let's get back to it. PAL, right here. Okay, like I said, they're going to go into Site B or C based on the selection here. Okay, I've got it set for Site B right now. Let's look at this raw tab. The nice thing about having a CSV file or another Excel file to pull those projections in is they come in nice and clean. And the only thing I need to do now is change the starting row and the ending row for the data. So it's in the right section. That's right up here. So starting row is 5. Okay. And the last row, I think it does go beyond 500, 699. Okay, based on my numbering system right here. 699. Okay, and then the only other thing to do is change these headings at the top. This is important. Okay, to make sure the data goes in the right columns, we need to change these headings. Now, I think since I did this before to test it out, these might match up perfectly. But you'll see the drop downs appear. Any column that is not going to get imported into Draft Buddy, just set it as other. Okay, so this one's not, it's an other. This is an important one, the name, first name, last name in that format. Okay, you might have from other sources the name split across columns or in a different format. Choose the one that's correct. Okay, there's the team. These are not going in, they're other for the plate appearances. At bats is right there. Runs, home runs, RBIs, stolen bases, etc. Yep, I did the Razzball before. The last time I used PAL, so all these headings line up perfectly. Okay, so now you're probably thinking these should show up here, and they're not. Don't worry about that. That happens kind of after the magic from copying using the copy to Draft Buddy button. Okay, we'll fill in this, kind of what it's going to do is it's going to fix our columns here, fix our data, kind of clean it up, and then make sure those names match, and then these formulas will work, and then copy it to Draft Buddy. So it kind of all happens at once. The important thing is don't get too fussed in advance that these are all NAs. Let's try it and see what happens. I'm expecting this data to go into Draft Buddy on the Hitters Data tab right over here. Okay, and in fact, I'll even clear some of this out. So we'll make sure it does. Okay. Okay, back to PAL, and let's try it. Copy to Buddy. All right, so it's working right now, and there we go. Now we are over in the Draft Buddy that I had open, and the data is copied in. All right, and it should appear for all the players that were projected by Razzball. I had a column wrongly marked here, I think. That is not the on-base percentage. Let's go back here. Not that we're really using the OBP in Draft Buddy, so that's fine. Yeah, hit by pitch. I have this OBP, that's not right. This should be an other. We don't have hit by pitch stats in Draft Buddy. Now, a couple things I forgot to mention. This is very important. This file name has to match exactly with your copy of Draft Buddy. Okay, your Draft Buddy, I suggest keeping both files open because it works better. But this file name, Draft Buddy, Excel file, the file name, including the extension, has to match exactly with the name here. Now, by default, it does. If you download both, never change the file name for Draft Buddy, it should match. But often people will change the name of Draft Buddy, save it as different files, maybe one for each league, and then the name would change. And if you're going to use PAL at that point, well, you need to make sure this is accurate. Second thing, a good test to make sure this worked is go over here and scroll down, okay, and then see if you have any blank rows, especially for players that are ranked higher, players that are higher up on our data tab. And you can see here I have a blank row here for Nick Castellanos. And the reason is because, and I mean, we're sitting here going, absolutely Razzball has projections for Nick Castellanos, but there's no data here that came in, and that is confirmed over here on our clean tab. If I go down a little bit, yeah, I'm going to see some NAs here for Nick Castellanos. It's because the name doesn't match exactly. So we have Nicholas, they probably have Nick, and that is the issue. Now I could fix this one of two ways. I could go through here and change this to Nicholas and then run it again. Or what I can do is I can go to the name changes tab, and they've got Nick, we've got Nicholas. I gotta confirm that this is the hitters, not pitchers, and then it should work. All right, let me see if there's any more. AJ Pollock, okay. Probably the difference there is we have dots in the AJ and they do not, would be my guess. So if I just copy that over to PAL, in Draft Buddy it is AJ Pollock with the dots. In Razzball it is not. This is hitters. Okay, so now if we run this again, not Draft Buddy, Projection Pal should identify these differences in names for us, and then this projections copy over. So let's copy to Buddy again. Okay, and there we go. It cleaned up the OBP column. Okay, it's not pulling in the hit by pitch stats in there again. And where is Nick Castellanos? Here he is right here. Okay, we see we have data for him, and I'm sure AJ Pollock is the same. Wherever he is, there he is right there. Okay, now we have projections for him. There's another one there that's different. Key Brian Hayes. I'm guessing that the apostrophe is probably different. It sometimes happens between, depending what, kind of apostrophe is used by the person you're getting or the website you're getting the projections from. If I do a quick search here for Hayes, there he is right there. That apostrophe is a little rounded. It is slightly different than the apostrophe we use. What am I going to do? I'm going to copy that apostrophe by carefully highlighting it. And I'm going to find it and change it with a simple apostrophe, straight up one, replace all, and found 12 of them, replaced them. And now if I ran that again, let's see if that fixes Hayes. Search for him. There he is right there. Highlight his row, scroll all the way over, and sure enough, there are projections for Hayes, okay, from Razzball. So that, I understand that was a lot, but you do the exact same process for pitchers, and then you'd have projections from another source into Draft Buddy, which then you can use to create cheat sheets, your own custom cheat sheets based on your scoring and format and rules, etc., that we already, would input in Draft Buddy like we normally do. All right, so that is a demonstration of Projection Pal. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions, please let me know. And thanks very much.